Hi, guys. You're welcome to the Evony Academy. I am Akayasha. You can call me Aka. Yes, I am leading the show today, guys. Okay, so I am here on the Evony Academy, and your favorite host, Math, is here as well. Say hi, Math.
Hello, Aka. Thank you for being with us today.
Okay, all right, that's good. Thank you very much. And thank you for inviting me and having me here with you. Um, so what's the plan for today? What can our viewers expect from us today?
Well, so we just finished recording the half of the video for your channel. So if you would like
Mm,
to go to Aka's channel and check out that part that we recorded, we discussed HP and defense, a little bit into that. We mainly went into the effective attack, march size, and attack aspects. A little bit more technical and what you would expect to see on this channel. But what we're going to do for this video is we're going to do a general review of Aka's generals. We're going to look at the generals he's chosen, talk about them a little bit, and maybe see if there's some recommendations we could make for to better his general situation.
okay, that all sounds great and good, and I hope everyone is settled down and is ready for this show and tell.
Let's talk about your PvP generals first. Who is your mounted
Okay,
PvP general? Who's your go-to?
my mounted PvP general is Hannibal, and
Okay.
here he is right here.
Yeah.
And I'm sure, regular viewers of the Ebony Academy, you probably see this and you're like, my goodness. Yes, Hannibal is my main PvP general. And just to give you a quick background on it, when I first started out, I started out using Lee Jing. Okay, where is he? Here
He's
he
up at the
is.
top.
Yes. So, yeah, this is the first Lee Jing that I started using when I got into Evan. Okay. And I was very happy with this guy. Okay. For some of you, some might remember, some might not. Okay. I'm gradually getting to the point where I'm an Ebony dinosaur at this point. But when I started playing Ebony, Li Jing was pretty much the best free to play option for mounted generals that you could get in the game. Okay. Generals like Martinus, generals like Roland, generals like Hannibal, they were premium generals. Okay, you couldn't get them without coining or without a token. So Li Jing was the guy that you could get from the tavern. And of course, there were other options. Generals like Yue Fei and generals like Washington, not the prime one, okay, the original Washington, right? At the time I started playing the game, he was one of the options that was available in the tavern. And it was one of the things that people actually used at that time. But of course, nobody uses original Washington anymore. So, yeah. So I had Legion. And then I eventually got to the point where, more and more CAV generals became available. And I had to make a choice. And of course, the choice was between, the three top ones, Martinez, Hannibal, Roland. Okay. And I, at the stage I was at, I didn't want to use Martinez because everyone was using Martinez. Okay. And just from a general design standpoint, I like Hannibal. I like Hannibal. Okay. I like seeing the general. I like seeing him. Okay. I like seeing him on my battle reports. So, yeah, I decided to go with Hannibal. And one thing I tell people is that when you have, two fairly similar generals, okay, um, and you can't quite differentiate on them based on their buffs and things like that, just pick the general that you like. I mean, you're going to be using this general for a significant amount of time. Pick the general that you're happy with looking at, you know? So in my case, that was Hannibal, and, I went with it. Now, I will I will acknowledge accept the fact that there are much better generals available now. Most of them are premium generals. Okay. And unless you are, coining fairly significantly, you're not going to be able to ascend those generals. Hannibal is available in the tavern. Okay. I've raided the tavern, several times. I've been able to max him out, and he's good. Now, when I get to the point where I can get a better general that I can do ascension on, Hannibal will eventually be retired to the Senate. So that's my game plan for this general.
That's a good game plan. I have to say, for the artistic aspect, Hannibal is probably my favorite general in game, just from the artistic aspect. I just love the
Yeah,
design.
exactly. It looks really cool.
From a practical aspect, though, we ran the numbers for Hannibal with Akka's marches in the other video, compared that to
Mm,
what Roland and Martinus would give him. And at your current
mm,
stage in the game, Roland would give you a slight advantage. But I
yeah.
don't really think that it has too much impact for you right now. Say once you
Mm,
develop further, it would be worth looking into, again, changing over to Roland. But by that point, there might be new generals in the tavern that are better than Roland. So if you do wait, there might be a better option for free, like
yeah,
Polygenus from
exactly.
Trial of Knights. So that could be a viable
Exactly.
option for you.
Yeah, exactly. Good point. Right now, I'm doing my best to collect copies of Polygenus as we go along. In fact, if I go to my inventory just to see how many of him I have, okay, I've got 3 copies of him right now, and I've got one in my general list. So right now, Polygenus, I could ascend him to 2 stars, and that's about it. So
Hey,
I'll need to get a bit more, and hopefully, if I can get enough, then I will eventually switch to Polygenus.
yeah, that's definitely a good strategy for future development. He is the
Yeah.
one of the two that I would recommend. Loudon is pretty
Mhm.
good, and I've done videos comparing all the other generals, but they are pretty similar. And I think Polygenus does have a slight edge because of the HP factor, so that's
Yeah.
good. Who's your assistant for mounted?
Now, I'm not going to talk too much about this because this is going to cause a whole lot of controversy and people are going to be screaming their heads off and pulling out their hair. But my mounted assistant for PvP is Hestia. Okay? I like Hestia. And from the moment she was released, I had already made up my mind that I was going to use Hestia. So she's who I use for mounted PvP.
She's definitely a good choice. You said
Mhm.
earlier that Washington Prime was also one that you considered for that slot.
Yes, yes, Washington Prime was an option. Let me see where he is. I'll just look for him very quickly. Okay. So he's done up a bit. Um, I ended up deciding to go with Hestia, but my Washington Prime, as you can see here, I've done the covenant for him up until the point where I've got this 4th covenant and I'm getting the extra mounted troop attack plus 10%. So yeah, that's the setup that I have now.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. Mhm.
Let me see
It
if
could be, yeah, it could be that later on I might decide to switch to Washington Prime, and in which case it would just be a matter of doing his specialties and then slapping him on there. But for now, I'm using Hestia.
Hestia and Washington Prime. The attacks are very similar, with very little difference. Assistant Washington Prime, 26% march size. Hestia, 0%. So Washington Prime at your level will give you more attack for sure.
Mm.
Survivability, Hestia is the better choice. So it really depends on whether you value survivability or you want the damage. For like monster
Yeah,
hunting, Washington Prime would be the clear winner. But for PvP, Hestia might outperform him, so it really is personal preference between the two. I'd say
yeah,
Hestia is a definite solid choice for your level and
mm.
into the future as well.
Yeah.
What's your main ground general?
Okay, now for ground general, that one is pretty much easy and straightforward. I use Elise.
Easy choice.
Okay.
She's
Yep.
by far
Yep.
the goat for the free to players, if you can
Yeah.
manage to get her.
Exactly.
I know some
Yeah.
people do
Exactly.
struggle with the Trial of Knights being
Mhm.
completely free to play, but it
Mm.
is possible, and she is a solid choice.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean I spent time, getting Elise from the Trial of Knights until the point where I could fully ascend her.
Yeah,
Okay. And I think she's great. Um
very solid
Other free
general.
to play options, yeah, other free to play options like Trajan or like Scipio, I think she's better. So that's who I use.
She is.
Now, of course, yeah, of course. With that being said, these days there are more ground generals, there are stronger ground generals, and a lot of people are switching. But yeah, I still have Elise, and I'll probably still be using her for a while.
Yeah, I would recommend keeping her, unless you get the
Hmm.
sudden urge to fully ascend a new premium general, or they put someone in the Trial of Lights that's better. For the foreseeable future,
Well,
she's the best option.
yeah. I mean, a lot of the new ground generals. I mean, I'm not too excited about them. Not from a character design perspective. I know a lot of people are using Forkbeard now, and that guy weirds me out, man. That guy weirds me out. I mean, when you see him laughing, it's just like I'm looking at him. I'm like, what the, you know? So yeah, I mean, if I had to look at this guy on a daily basis, I would probably just lose my mind.
I like his
You know.
design. I think he's really cool. Fun fact, I actually have used him on defense because early on I
Yeah.
invested in
Yeah.
Trajan, and he can be a defense general. And
Yes, he can. He most certainly
Forkbeard
can.
can assist in the defense. So I built the defense
Yes, he
that's
can.
just 100% ground because with lower power,
Mhm.
they don't bother to scout me. They just send their archer march and it crashes. So it's pretty
Okay.
funny when a player 4 or 5 times my power crashes against the
Mhm.
wall of ground because they didn't bother to scout. So
Yeah.
it is a viable defense. There are uses for generals
Yeah,
like that.
certainly, definitely, definitely. Um, you know, I mean, that's a topic for another day, but the way my defense is structured now, I mean, using a ground general wouldn't help me that much. But if you have a ground-based defense, Forkbeard is a very viable option to use on your wall. Most certainly. Just going through his specialties very quick. Yeah, all of them are valid. So he could be used as a defensive option.
Yeah. Who did you say that you use as the assistant though? I forgot already.
Okay, no, my ground assistant is Alessandra.
Okay.
Okay, so she's my assistant for ground. You know, who was I using? Okay, I was using Trajan previously, and then when Alessandra came out in a completely unexpected and unpredictable and unfathomable, twist of events, I managed to get Alessandra from that, box thingy that you get the assistant generals from. I never win anything on those things, and for some reason, I got Alessandra.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh wow, Aka got lucky. You know. So yeah, so since then I've been using Alessandra for my ground assistant, and she's pretty cool. Her main skill, you get an additional 8% march size, which is okay. I don't know if she has any. No, she doesn't have any in her specialties, but she's very good, and she was a much better option than the Trojan I was using earlier. So that's what I use.
Definitely. Uh, Looking at the stats for her, she's better than the free generals you could get, but compared
Hmm.
to the premiums, she's lacking a little bit. They're probably
Yeah,
better
well,
options. Forkbeard is a
you
better
know,
option. What other
yeah,
what other
exactly.
do you have for ground generals that you could use instead?
I have a lot of them. I don't have sushi, but I have Forkbeard, I have Paris. Um, so those are other options I could use. But this is one of the practical difficulties that you face in the game when you're not, spending all that much.
Yeah.
You can see the specialties on Alessandra. I've done them to the point where I'm almost completing the fourth one. Let me just open it here. Okay, so this one is almost completed. I just need to finish off the fourth one, and that's good. I don't have the rune stones available to completely scrap Alessandra and pick up a new general.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've invested a lot in her. So yeah, that's the situation. If I had, you know, all the items I needed available in abundance, possibly I would have switched Alessandra out, maybe gone for a fork beard.
Yeah.
But as it is now, Alessandra it is, and to be honest, I'm okay with that.
Yeah. She seems to do a solid enough job. And if
Hmm.
you have a chance in the future, I definitely recommend swapping her out for Totila, Suchit, or Frigg if you could get a hands on any of those and the runestones to upgrade them. Those would be better
Yeah,
options,
exactly.
but that
Mhm.
seems like a future problem. What about the ranged general? Who's your ranged main?
Okay. My range general, that's a bit of an interesting story. Okay. Now, let me just, I'll try my best to make it very quick. But for, if there are any of your viewers here that have seen any of my previous videos, you might know that I used to use Himiko as my range general. Okay. And every time I tell people that I use Himiko as my range general, they're like, what? They're like, huh? And I actually did a video on this. Okay. So Himiko was the very first general that I got when I started playing Evony that I could use for ranged. Okay. If you look at her skill, it's she's got mounted troop attack debuff in there, which okay is useful in some situations, and then range attack and defense 15%. So she was okay. And yeah, I used Himiko. And I got so attached to Himiko that I kept using her for a very long time. Okay. I I started PvP with Himiko. I got my wings with Himiko, and I was using her in Battlefield and SVS for the longest time ever. In fact, it became like a signature kind of thing. It's like if you see a report and you see the range general is Himiko, you're like, okay, that's probably Aka, you know, that kind of thing. Um, but I eventually got to the point where um, my range attack started to lack a bit. Okay, it started to lack a bit, and the primary reason for that is Himiko's ascension. It's not the best, but it's okay. All right. Her ascension is okay.
No,
If it was left for her,
I
yeah.
gotta stop you there, Aka. Do not
Mm.
ascend Himiko for any reason ever.
No,
That's
no, no, no,
very
no, no.
bad as a
Actually,
ranged general.
actually, you actually this point that you're making, okay, that's actually the basis of the video that I did. I did a video comparing Himiko and Minamoto, okay, and based on the ascension alone, if you take the main skill and the ascension alone, Himiko is better than Minamoto, okay. The problem with Himiko is her specialties are, let me be kind and say, not good.
Hmm.
Okay. That is the problem with Himiko. Let me just bring her up here. Her specialties are not good. All right. So we see the first one here, range attack and HP. This one is okay. The second one, enemy troop attack debuff. Okay, you could manage that. The third one, enemy wounded into death. Useless. The fourth one, debuffs. So using Himiko as an attacking general, when it comes to specialties, it's you can't do much with it. And that's the problem that I faced. I couldn't develop her anymore because there was no point in doing her specialties.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that's that. And, on the point I was making previously, I said that, just based off the main skill and the ascension, Himiko is better than Minamoto. But when you factor in the specialties, Minamoto blows Himiko away.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So that's the issue that I had there. And the generals that were available at the time, I wasn't really too interested in them. I mean, everyone and their grandmother was using Electra, you know. So, and Electra is a good general. It's just that, yeah, everybody was using Electra, okay, and I wanted something different. So it took a while before I could find a general that I could use or that I liked enough to use. So the general I eventually settled on is Marcus.
Hmm. Good choice.
Yeah. So Marcus is who I use as my main range general now. And I'm very happy with it. Okay. I'm very happy with Marcus. He's been doing a great job so far. Himiko, I moved into the Senate. So, she's there. And Marcus is doing the dirty business right now.
Yeah, Marcus is he's a solid general. I see you only
Yeah.
have 3 red stars though, which does hold back his
Yes.
potential.
Yes, exactly. This is now one of the practical problems that comes when, you're limited on coining,
Yeah.
is getting the fragments for Marcus. Okay, so that's a problem. And for some strange reason, I don't know if people notice this, but for some strange reason, when Ebony releases generals, we just assume that when the next general comes out, the previous general gets moved into the glory tokens and you could get the general from the glory tokens. No, it's not so. Ebony selects the generals that he puts in the glory tokens.
Mm-hmm.
Marcus was released, I believe, at the beginning of this year. Marcus is not in the glory token.
Well, even if he was in the glory tokens, he'd have an equal chance of all the other generals. So farming him from there would
Yeah,
be it's not really
yeah.
practical.
It would be considerably easier. Okay, it would be
Yeah.
considerably easier because if you're getting the glory tokens and you're trying to get the latest general, yeah, Marcus will probably pop up every once in a while. Okay, but because he's not in the glory token, the only option of getting fragments from him is the premium token. And at this point, we all know how bad that is.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So it's tough. And at the point I'm at now, I need 9 more copies of him to be able to fully ascend him.
Wow. I
Yeah.
guess I guess that's not realistic. So the question is there another general that would be better at 5 stars than he would be at 3 stars? Because the options you would be looking at is either Electra or Winfield Scott, and that's about it. And
Yeah,
honestly,
Minamoto as well. I haven't done it specifically, but my estimate is that even at 3 stars, Marcus is better than them.
yeah, it'd be a close race for sure. That'd be something to look into, but maybe you'll be able to get
Yeah.
a different one in the future. Maybe they'll add somebody new to the relics.
Possibly. Marcus, he does pop up every now and then in the limited recruit.
Oh, that's true. That is a good way
Okay.
to
Yeah,
get him.
the limited recruits. But again, that's the problem is that if you're gonna get just 1 copy of the general, then limited recruit is perfectly fine. When you need to get 9 copies of the general, it's not practical.
Yeah, it's true. But who's the assistant for him?
Okay, so my assistant is a very regular choice, Eleanor.
Okay. She's actually
So
one of the very best ranged assistants, so excellent job with
yeah,
that.
yeah, she's good. Yeah, she's
Yeah.
good. She's good as an assistant. So I have Eleanor. Um, And I've invested in her, done the specs, everything. Yeah, she's great, and I'm happy with that.
Yeah. And a lot of the
Yeah,
generals they've been releasing haven't been able to outperform her in the assistant category. So
yeah,
I think she definitely
exactly,
has some
exactly.
longevity for it.
Hmm.
Future's hopeful for her.
Yeah,
I guess that
yeah.
brings
So
us
that's
to,
the yeah. So that's the combination I have for ranged, and I think I'll be using that for a while. Hopefully, I'll be able to upgrade Marcus a bit, and then, yeah, we take it from there.
yeah. What about Siege? Have you put
Okay,
anything
now
into Siege?
my siege. Okay. Well, I don't know what you think about this, but I'm using the people's champion, Patronus. Okay.
Yep.
Yes, Patronus is my current siege general. And the funny thing, some people have wondered why I call him the people's champion. And for those that remember, there was a point in time where the best um, siege general that you could get in the game was Ulysses S. Grant. Okay, he
Hmm.
was the best siege general that you could get in the game. And Evany got to the point where they started releasing new generals. And there were some generals that they brought out for siege, but they weren't that great. Petronas, in that period where Evany was releasing new generals, Petronas was the first very good siege general that Evany released. And people that were interested in siege were like, yes, finally, finally, a good general. He doesn't require a dragon, unlike Ulysses S. Grant. You could use him to his max potential and everything. So everyone was happy with Petronas. Okay. And that's part of the reason why I call him the people's champion. Um, of course, since then, there have been a ton of um, siege generals that have been released. Okay.
Yep.
So Petronas right now is no longer a top tier siege general.
Not at all.
But yeah, exactly. But he's still very good.
Hmm.
Okay. So I'm using Petronas for now. Okay. Eventually, as a game plan, okay, I have Mu Kunying. Okay.
Hmm.
I liked her when they released her. I don't like the data anomaly in quote that Ebony brought out that messed up her skills so she can't take the attack book anymore. But I have her. So my intention is that when I get a few more fragments, I will eventually switch to Mukwing. Right now, I only have enough to do her about 3 stars. So I would like to be able to do 4 stars and move up.
Oh, that's
Uh,
that's good.
yeah. So that's the plan for now.
Yeah.
So Petronas it is.
The thing about
And
Patronus
yeah.
is at
Mhm.
this point where he is now, he's been power crept so much. I wish they'd just
Mhm.
throw him in the relic, because he's not even his stats aren't even comparable to what the premiums are now. He really
Yeah,
falls in line more of the freemium category. He should be more
exactly.
available.
Yeah, they really should make more fragments of him available.
Yeah.
And if they do, like I said, he's the people's champion. People will rush those things. They will get fragments. They will upgrade them, and you'll see a lot more Patronuses up and about.
Hmm. I'd say all of the Siege for free players are bad options.
Yeah,
Ulysses is just the least bad.
yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
But who do
You know.
you have for the assistant for Patronus?
Okay, so for Patronus Assistant, right now I am using Palace.
Okay, that's a good choice.
Yes. So Palace is the general I'm using. Now, this one is a bit weird because I do have other generals like I have Mu Kunying, I could use her. I have Gunther. I think those are the main ones. Okay, I have Raimundo and I have Hunyadi.
Oh, you
Okay.
you have
Yeah.
Gunther?
So Yes, I do. I
I
do.
would definitely recommend using Gunther. He's far
Yeah.
better than
Okay.
Palace.
Yeah. Where is he? Where is he? Yeah, there we go. Yeah. So I do have Gunther. Okay. And I could easily, I could switch him out and use him as an assistant, but um I'm not I'm not sure if I'm remembering it correctly, but I believe he's not compatible with Petronas. Oh, actually, yeah. Oh no, they are
Yeah, he is
compatible.
compatible.
Yeah, they are compatible. Yeah.
Yeah,
So yeah, Gunther is there. He's an option. Um, so I would possibly switch my assistant to Gunther. I haven't done I haven't done much work on my palace, so it wouldn't be that much of an issue to switch. Um, but I like palace, you
yeah.
know. So yeah,
From a
yeah,
technical
Mm.
statistic standpoint, Gunther is the clear winner. He's higher in attack than her, far better defense
Yeah.
and
I
hit
mean,
points and march size.
yeah, he's the best siege general in the game right now, I believe.
For pure attack, I believe he is.
Yeah, yeah.
He's definitely one of the top three overall.
Mhm.
Until next week when they release a new siege general, then he'll be old news.
Didn't they just release one like last week? What's his name? Theo something.
Yeah, Theodosius. Theo actually,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
the video I made on Theo, I was actually like, this is a balanced general. He's not breaking anything. He fills a niche. Like it's crazy. They did a good job. I can't believe I'm saying that, but they did a good job with Theo.
Okay.
So we'll
So
see.
yeah, yeah, so he's an option, but I suspect that they'll probably bring out some more siege generals, very soon.
Yeah. All right, let's jump to the probably the last part we're gonna hit due to the time. It seems like
Okay.
we've been going for 40 minutes. So defense.
Okay.
Let's talk about the defense.
Okay. The defense, this one is very good. I've got um George Dewey as my defense general.
Nice. At 4 stars
Hmm.
too. That's impressive.
Yeah, yeah. I've been lucky with him. I've managed to get some copies. So if I can get a few more, hopefully I'll be able to get him to 5 stars at some point.
Yeah. Dewey is definitely a very solid choice. Have you gotten all
Yes,
of
he
the
is.
copies for him from the tavern box, whatever that's called?
No, no, I still need some more. I still need some more copies. So sending him will be a while. And of course, that stuff is completely random.
Yeah.
So you never know when you're gonna get them. Yeah. So I'm just hoping one day I get lucky.
The ones that you've gotten up until this point, though, have they all come from the box, or have they come from
Uh,
other places as well?
Great. I think I got some from. I think I got one or two from tokens.
Hmm.
I think I got one or two from tokens, but everything else has pretty much come from the where is it? The general chest. This
Yeah.
one. Yeah.
I do like it whenever I believe it's the Battlefield shop. They'll let you buy like 30 of them or something. That is nice. Gives you a little
Um.
boost.
Yeah, that's the one where is it?
Oh, the
This
Battlefield betting.
the betting one.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. This is the first thing that I buy every time.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's
I always get this first thing every time. I don't even think about it anymore.
hmm Dewey is a very good choice for defense. He's one of the better ones. My only problem with
Yes, he
him is
is.
it's a gamble whether you can get him to a point where he's better than others or not.
Yes, I started using Dewey, when I started playing the game. Of course, at that time he was he was a different general. He was Johnston at that time. And then, when Evany decided to change out some of the generals, they changed him to George Dewey. So I've been using him since that time. And when I started getting more um, wall generals, I decided that, okay, let me check and see whether it still makes sense for me to use Dewey. And it did. It made sense. In fact, it made a lot of sense. Um, Dewey, his design as a general is very good, and for what he does, there are very few generals in the game that you can objectively say are better than him.
Mm-hmm.
There are not that many. So Dewey, I think, is a good choice, and I'm sticking with him, and I'm doing okay so far.
Yeah. Do you have a T1 flat refined defense, or what do you run?
Okay, I've covered this in a video before. I did it as a bit of an experiment, and it worked so far, and I kept it. So what I use is a mix.
Mm-hmm.
I use a mix of ground and cav, T1.
Okay.
Hmm. So if we go through my refines very quickly, okay, you can look at this here. This is ground attack. Then if we look at this one here, you can see mounted attack as well. So um I've basically split mine, pretty much half and half between ground and mounted.
Yeah. I see how that
Mm.
strategy can work, because the only
Mhm.
reason the uh, the T1 ground wall isn't effective is the archers just shoot over them and shoot other troops because they don't like shooting them.
Mhm.
But with
Mhm.
the combination, you do get kind of the best of both worlds. So that is a
Mhm.
viable strategy.
Yeah, it is. It is. And I tried it out because everyone is like, the general notion is that, T1 caps. Okay. T1 caps are what it is. You just refine your wall general for T1 calves, and, you build the calves, and that's it. Um, from how do I say, from a stylistic standpoint, I'm not happy with that approach personally.
Hmm.
That's because my view is that my wall general is a wall general. It's meant to buff all of my troops. My wall general is not a calf general.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the way I view it, and that's just my perspective. But from an effectiveness standpoint, I decided to do this experiment because no one else had anything on it, and I wanted to check it to see if it works, and to let people know that you don't necessarily just have to go full T1 calves, okay, and refine everything for calves. There is, the option. Of course, as with anything, it's got its pros, it's got its cons. But so far, I'm happy with it, and I think it works okay. Just give me a second. Wanna see if this comes up. Where is this? Yeah, here we go. Okay, so this is a report from the last All Stars. Okay, and this is me getting rallied. So I mean, take it for what it's worth, but yeah, this is not a bad defense in my opinion. So I think the mix of ground and calves, I think it works fine. Let's see how they did on the report. Okay, so that's the T1 ground there. Okay, decent amount of kills. And I was coming up against an archer rally, and as you can see, it wiped out all my T1 calves. So
Yeah.
this is where, yeah, this is where I, um,
It starts
I
to show a
find,
little bit of cracks, because if they can blow
yeah,
through your T1 mounted, then they're going to start targeting the higher tier troops.
yes. But you see, what I found is that all your calves are going to go eventually.
Hmm.
All your calves are going to go eventually. When it comes to the T1s, okay, look, as you can see here, I have just under 200 million. Okay. These days, 200 million is small. for T1s.
Yeah.
If I had more T1s, it would probably be a bit more effective. They probably wouldn't have gone through all of them. But what I find is that even for the biggest keeps, if you're taking big range rallies, they will go through your T1 calves.
Hmm.
You know. So and then um the question is, what do you then defend with after that? So, at least that's my thinking. The reports are not too bad, so I'm okay with that mix that I have there.
Okay. It seems like
Mm.
it's working well enough. I will say I
Yeah.
think the pure T1 cavalry is better from a tactical standpoint,
Mm.
but I do see merits in the mixed approach, especially if people get caught out. They don't expect to see a flat refines on the ground troops, so that
Yeah.
could. I'd like to see it against a
Yeah.
ground march. Have you seen it against a ground march yet? Because I feel like it might perform pretty good there.
Hey, you mean solo ground
Yeah,
or
like a
uh, I will have to check my reports, but yeah, I've done okay against solo ground. I've done okay against solo ground, and I've done okay against ground rallies as well. I don't know if I'll see any. Okay, this is ranged. Just checking through to see. No, most of the attacks I've been getting lately are all ranged. Um,
yeah.
I would have to go quite a bit to look for a ground. It does help, and I would say generally my keep does well against ground attacks. Okay, I remember one situation I took a range rally, like pretty much like the one that I showed. They cleared out all my ranged, and their big guy tried to ground solo me, and he splat.
Hmm.
Okay, so here we have a ground attack. Okay, so this is my keep against a ground attack, although this was a while ago. Um, and this guy, 200 and 2,700 ground attack buffs, you know, uh,
Yeah,
and my yeah, so not bad.
that's a much better report than the previous
Mm,
one. So it does seem like
mm,
this defense is stronger against the ground than a pure T1 mounted. So that is an
possibly.
advantage.
Mm,
It really just depends on the
and
situation, though. There's no one size
yeah,
fits all.
exactly. I'm not claiming that this is the perfect way to set up your defense. I did it to show that it's one way.
Yeah.
Okay, it doesn't only have to be full cap.
And your assistant, it's Leo, correct?
Yes, my assistant is Leo the third,
Uh,
and the reason for that is because at my size, I'm what 4.7 billion right now. I need to take care of my siege.
yeah.
Okay, I need to take care of my siege. I have once you start getting into the 3 billions and above, siege becomes a problem.
Yeah, Leo's a very solid assistant for a wall. One of the best.
Yeah,
The only one that
yeah,
could
he
do
is.
better would be Takenaka, which I don't know if you've seen his stats.
Takenaka is the best siege wall general in the game.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, he's also the most expensive.
Yeah, for sure. He's only in the cakes, correct?
uh, he was when he was released. He wasn't even in the cake. He was in a special event. So he
Oh,
had his own event that you needed to coin for to get him. I think they released the he has only been available twice in the game so far, I think. And the second time they released him, I think they made him a bit cheaper. Um, but yeah, it was. I believe the first time it was released, I believe you needed to spend close to how much was it? I think close to like it was over 5,000, I believe, or something. I can't quite remember the
wow.
exact number, but it was in the thousands that you needed to spend to get enough copies of this guy to ascend him. and you had to get it from that specific event pack.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
They really do. I guess people are buying it because they keep doing it, so business model is working.
Well, people did buy it. People did buy it, but of course, a lot of people complained because it was you were literally just buying that pack for the general. There wasn't much, stuff in there that you could say, okay, I could use for other stuff.
Hmm.
You're just buying the general and you're going down the cake, and that's it. And
Yeah.
people complained that it was too expensive, and some people did get him. In fact, quite a few people did get him.
Hmm.
And then the second time they released him, some people still, more people got him, but he is expensive. He's expensive as a general, to get. So, and the funny thing, because I did a video on this general, and when I compared him that at the time, he's only slight as an assistant, he's only slightly better than Leo the Third, I think.
Yeah, looking
Like the
at
difference between them is very small. But I think you needed to pay like 500, like $300 or $500 just to get this general.
hmm
You
if you're
know,
making the argument from a pure siege standpoint,
yes,
Leo
pure C.
technically is the better siege assistant. He has an extra about 10% attack, and then their combined HP
Yeah,
and
yeah,
defense are the
yeah,
same.
something like that. Yeah,
The
something
only
like that. I remember when I did the video and I looked at it. Yeah, it's something like that.
Yeah, they're very close. Not worth the money to change over.
Yes, if if you have him and you want to use him as an assistant, which a lot of people do because they don't want to spend the full money to get him and ascend him as a main world general.
Yeah.
But as a main world general, Takenaka is the best general for siege in the game.
Hey guys, so that's where I'm cutting the video off. It's not a great stopping point, but me and Aka, we went for about 2 hours of raw footage. We covered all of his sub generals as well, and all of that stuff. But we just, I just don't have enough space to put that in a YouTube video. So that's the ending point for here. I want a big shout out to Aka. Thank you for doing this project with me. I had a lot of fun with it. And yeah, if you guys want to see the review of the sub generals that we did, I could probably throw that together into a shorter video. I had about 20 minutes of footage from that we could possibly edit. So let me know if you'd be interested in seeing that in the comments. And make sure y'all go and check out Aka's video for his half of it, because I really think y'all are going to really enjoy that one. And I'll catch y'all in the next one.